skills, employability skills or the expertise. Right? I don't want to talk about many skills which people know, like the communication, body language, and many things. But on top of all these things, there are few important skills. Problem solving. How good you are in solving your client's problem. How good you are in solving your client's problem. First of all, you must understand who are you going to be your clients when you graduate from the college, when you become actually an MBA. You want to be a manager, right? For whom you want to be a manager? For whom you are going to serve, right? And are you really capable of solving their problem? That is called problem solving. Sometimes it is the customer's problem. Sometimes it is a business problem. So you should be a very good problem solver. And also, when you are in the course of solving a problem, you have to take important decisions, right? Decision making. You should always take decisions based on fact. Differentiate between opinion and fact. What everybody says may be an opinion, but only through analysis, thorough analysis, you can validate whether it is just an opinion or really a fact. If it is a fact, you can take decision. Your decision cannot be wrong. That is called decision making. That's where statistics comes into picture. Whether the information is an opinion or a fact, how do you know? Using some data, right? And data gives signal. Whether the signal is going to be a true signal or is it going to be a false signal? This is called statistics, right? So understanding, or validating a claim either as a fact or not is nothing but the statistics. That is what we are going to do. That means your decision should be data driven. Your decision should be fact driven. And more than that, how do you organize? How do you organize these skills, right? When you are working in a team, how do you organize the team, organize the project, and actually produce results on time? These are going to differentiate you from the average crowd. And more valuable thing is the real hands-on experience. Please understand, many a time students think that they gain experience only after joining the company. If Sachin Tendulkar thought that he can practice only after getting selected for the Indian team, he could never have been selected. Same way, if you think that you can practice all these things only after getting, job offer from the company, that day will never happen. So you can start practicing all these things right now. And this program will equip you with these three important skills. In my opinion, these three are 80% of the contributes to the 80% of the employability. So try to master it. Right. Like how all of us are discussing today. A lot of students here, and then we are talking to you. A conference happened in College of Engineering, Pune. A long back, a conference happened in College of Engineering, Pune. And in that conference, this person, nothing but, he is the Vice President of Bajaj Auto. Can somebody name this person? You know who is this? Anybody know the name of this person? Have you heard his speech? No comments? You don't want to comment?
No, sir, we don't know.
No. Okay, no worries. I will tell you. So he is Mr. Rajiv Bajaj. He is the Vice President of Bajaj Auto. He spoke in a conference held in the College of Engineering, Pune, right? And he shared a valuable information. I want all of you to listen to his speech. It is worth watching. Is it audible?
No. Sound is not there. Share sound, sir. No, you not shared sound.
Once again, I will reshare. Share the sound on the screen. Optimize for video clip. Can you confirm?
Lesson in management
Yes.
in the most insulting way possible. His name is Professor Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi-san, we used to call him. When I first met him, I was in charge of Bajaj Auto's R&D and engineering. We were working hard on the Pulsar. And he asked me a simple question, and run it through your minds as I am telling you this story. He asked me, "What is your job?" I said to him, "Yamaguchi-san, I am Vice President Products." And his exact words to me were, "Stupid boy, that is your designation, that is not your job. What is your job?" So I said to him, "Yamaguchi-san, my job is to develop motorcycles." He said, "Oh, I see. You are working on the drawing board or on the CAD station." So I said, "No, I am not personally actually working on the drawing board." He said, "Then what is your job?" So there was a concept that time called design for manufacturing. I said to him, "Yamaguchi-san, my job is to make a design which is very, very efficient for manufacturing." He said, "Oh, now I understand. Working on the machine is your job." I was thinking to myself, I am Rajiv Bajaj and he's making a worker out of me. So I said, "No, Yamaguchi-san, I don't work on the machine myself." Then he said, "Then what is your job?" So I was getting very anxious by then. I said to him, "Yamaguchi-san, my job is to develop such beautiful motorcycles that all the boys sitting here should want to buy it. Maybe some girls also, I don't know." He said, "Oh, now I understand. You are salesman in dealer workshop. You are working in dealership." I said, "No, Yamaguchi-san, I am not doing that also." So then he looked at me and he said, "You don't design, you don't make, you don't sell, then what is your job?" Then after some time he smiled and he said, "I know you are a manager, only talking is your job." So he said, "You people, you so-called managers in companies, you don't do anything with your own hands. See, at least a surgeon, a cricketer, a musician, a chef, all these professionals have to work very hard with their hands. But managers only working with the mouth. Only yak, 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 blah, 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 blah all the time." So then I only asked him, "Please tell me what is my job?" And he said, "The third important word I want to leave with you, improvement is your job. Every day you must ask yourself, can you create an environment, can you create an atmosphere in your company so that everybody who comes there is motivated to do better than he did yesterday? If you can create this kind of empowerment, enablement, then you are doing your job." I was very happy because I thought I had learned something. Next day, Yamaguchi-san came to Bajaj Auto. First thing he asked me, "What is your job?" I said, "Yamaguchi-san, improvement is my job." Immediately he asked me, "Good. What is your action?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "This is the problem with Indian people. In India, nobody does. Only Ganesha does, Ganesha does, Ganesha does." He said, "Yesterday I told you improvement is your job. You accepted it. But you have not taken any action since morning. You are only talking again. Improvement is my job, improvement is my job." So friends, what I want to say to you through these two stories of 4 words is that as you go forward, whether you go into politics or you go into any other profession, ask yourself, when you have any pain in life, because life will offer you a pain or the other every now and then. When you have any pain, ask yourself, is my direction correct? Is my direction logical and ethical? Is my direction a shortcut? Am I taking a roundabout route, or is my direction correct? 2, if my direction is correct, is all of me aligned? Or am I distracted? Am I fragmented? Am I looking here and there? Is my mind somewhere else, my body somewhere else? Or is all of me aligned in my direction? 3, every day you go to work, ask yourself, what can I do better today? And 4, whenever you get an idea to do something better, please put it into action. I think if we follow these 4 words, I hope some of you will agree with me, we can achieve both prosperity and happiness.
Okay. So what did you learn from him? Come on, students, did you listen to the video? What is the message?
Students, be interactive. Tell your message. Talk to the resource person. Be interactive.
Come on, friends. What did you understand from the video? Otherwise, I will stop playing these kind of videos. Isn't it? Come on, Pa, why are you hesitating a lot? Yeah, improvement. Fantastic. Surya says improvement. And improvement is the key to success. Beautiful. See, this foundation, understanding, is important for us to teach to you something, how to improve results. Very good. I could see 3 people, responding. Surya, Ritam, Sharma. How about others? Done. So, okay, understood about managers' work and designation, right? Very good. So designation is different, the job is different. Very good. What is this? Just give me a moment. So we will continue. Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
What happened? Zoom pop-up, no, the video pop-up is not coming. Suddenly,
Which video, sir?
no, video of the participants. 1 moment, it is. Generally, when I share the screen, okay, it goes out. It should not go out. I'm not sure.
Share the screen.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
were sharing app, probably.
I think
Share
screen
screen.
is shared there.
Screen sharing, not app sharing.
Okay. Is my screen shared now?
Yes, yes.
Very good.
Bajaj is there visible.
Okay, okay. Now what happened? Okay, anyway, I'll continue in the interest of time. Right. So what can actually make us employable? So another important book I wanted to talk to you about. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Nearly 30 million copies of the book got sold out. What is there inside the book, right? So I'll reveal it for you. We need to be proactive. We should always begin with an end in mind. We must prioritize correctly, right? And we must always think win-win and listen to get listened. Synergize and then sharpen the saw. So these are the 7 chapters inside the book, or 7 skills Stephen Covey was talking about. If you thoroughly understand and then really develop these skills or these habits, you are going to be very, very effective and successful. Proactive. You don't have to wait for the failures to happen. Rather, you can proactively prevent the failure, right? And Lean Six Sigma is a proactive approach to prevent defects in your products and services, right? Your organization can be any kind of organization. What Six Sigma is going to do, it is going to proactively prevent the defects, the non-conformances. And number 2, we should always begin with an end in mind. You have been going through the education right now, MBA program, maybe 2 years. But before MBA, you have studied some UG, undergraduate degree. For some of you, it could be 3 years, and for some of you, it could be 4 years. And before degree, you did schooling 12 years, and some of you could have gone for the kindergarten also. So near about 12 plus 3 plus 2, at least all of you have gone through 15 plus 2, 17 years of education. What is that you really wanted to achieve? When have you decided about it? And what is he saying? We must always begin with an end in mind. If you have not decided what is your the end result you wanted to produce through this education, at least you must fix it now. This is called begin with an end in mind. Prioritize the importance. Do you want to, if it is if it is a choice between your girlfriend and your mom, or if it is going to be a choice between your boyfriend and your dad, what is going to be your preference? That is called prioritization. How do you going to prioritize when there are options in life? Always life is full of options, right? Multiple options. Let's say you get the job offer from 3 different companies. And which company you will join now? That is called prioritization. Think win-win. Always make the situation a win-win. For example, right now, the training program, where by keeping it two-way, situation becomes win-win. You also learn a lot. We also training all of you, right? And that way, the relationship can go on in a longer term. Similarly, if you are the kind of relationship you are trying to establish, is it going to be an employer-employee relationship? Let's say you want to work for a company and you expect the company to pay you a huge salary. Just think 1 minute. What are you going to offer to the company? When the company is paying you month on month a huge salary, what are you going to give back to the company? Can you create the situation a win-win through your projects? Every project results in a saving of 10 to 20 lakhs. Then company will be interested in paying you a huge salary. By keeping the situation, making the situation win-win, the relationship can actually become a long-term relationship. Listen to get listened. It is very important. We always listen to our people around us. If you listen to them, then they will also listen to you, right? So understand their expectation, understand their requirement, whether you want to be an employer or you want to be an entrepreneur. For you to be successful, you should be a very good listener. Maybe after this session, I will also test how good all of you are in listening, right? We are on the assumption that all of you are paying full attention and listening to our sessions. I'm going to test that, right? So if listen to get listened. If you listen today, probably tomorrow they will listen to you, right? Listen to your customer, understand your customer requirement, produce product, understanding the customer requirement. Then customer will come to you to buy your product, right? This is the meaning of this thing. Synergize. Are you really utilizing all your energy and resources towards achieving the number 2? The strategic goal of your company. The company wanted to become a market leader. Do you really make sure the entire energy resources available in the company is utilized to achieve number 2? You can connect these philosophies for your personal life also, professional life also, for an individual also, for an organization also. Sharpen the saw. I already mentioned, you don't have to wait for the battle to begin. You start building the skills right now. Whenever the battle happens, then you should be, ready to fight. These are the things. Nothing but when I want to just summarize. Sometimes this can be comfortably put into these 2 important skills: the problem solving and decision making skills. So in the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt training program, you are going to learn certain methodologies. You are going to learn certain tools and techniques. These methodologies, tools and techniques will make you develop these habits in anything you are doing, right? As a professional. So Lean Six Sigma skill set will directly impact all these 7 traits, right? So Lean Six, as I already mentioned, Lean Six Sigma is an approach to proactively prevent the defects. Every project should have a goal. Every project should have a goal. Project is just 3 months, but everything is well planned. On day 1, the project team knows what kind of result they are going to produce after 3 months. Right? They always begin with an end in mind. Prioritize, learning to prioritize. Already RK spoke about the Pareto, 80-20. 80% of the results come from 20% of the efforts. 80% of the 20% of the products. Similarly, 20% of the people are actively participating in the program. Always you see a Pareto principle working. You are going to learn it, right? And so the same thing can help you to prioritize problems, prioritize results, prioritize causes. And over and above, you will also be learning tools like prioritization metrics. So any situation, you will always prioritize things properly based on the importance, right? And then business case, any project you do in any organization, what is the take for the company? That is called a business case. That means every project you are making it a win-win, because doing a project in a company requires a lot of resources. Though you are a student, you do a project for a company just 2 to 3 months. Company is investing on you to enable you to carry on with the project. Lot of resources are utilized. We need to understand time is also a resource, right? And then listen to get listened, voice of stakeholders, right? And see here, I carefully used the word stakeholder, not even the customer, not only the customer. Of course, the customer is the ultimate end user, but any product, any service you offer, in addition to the end user, there are many others involved who may be directly or indirectly affected by the quality of your products and services. So it is very important you always do an analysis with respect to the voice of the stakeholder. Today, see, after the training program, we are going to certify all of you as green belt, and then we are going to send you into the market. And there are a lot of expectation from the industry, from a green belt. You must live up to it, right? So we need to understand certificate is not only required for you, but it is required by the industries. It is required for the society, and how you perform as a green belt, decides the fate of many, many others, right? So it's important that you understand the voice of the stakeholders. Synergize any product, any service you offer, and component level testing alone is not sufficient. You need to test at the system level how things works as a system, right? And that is also important. Like a car is nothing but an automobile is nothing but an assembly of 5,000 parts. It is not enough you just test the parts separately. It is very important you test the whole car as a whole system. So that is called a systems approach, right? That means you need to see to that you utilize your resources properly to achieve the project goals. So process approach as well as systems approach is important. And then Lean Six Sigma makes people very, very effective through continuous learning from every failure. Every failure when you resolve, there will be a learning. That learning will be shared with everyone in the company, and thereby people gradually become effective. If everyone in the company becomes effective, then the organization becomes effective. So these are the philosophies you will be learning in Lean Six Sigma. And in order to practice this, Lean Six Sigma gives you methodology, gives you tools and techniques. Is that clear to all of you? And if some of you really interested in reading the book called the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, you can ask me personally. I'll be happy to share the content of the book with you so that you can read thoroughly. Is that clear to all of you? Can I get an yes for this particular slide? Come on. Okay, I think Vivek Mahajan said yes in the chat box. That we'll move on. Now, we'll talk about why projects fail. Whether the project is executed by professionals or the project is executed by students like you, sometimes, the project fails. The first reason why projects fail is the mindset. Let us not worry about the companies as a while, for a while. When you do a project, why your projects are failing? The first and foremost reason is your mindset. You need to understand you are given an opportunity to do a project in a company, not only for the sake of learning, but it is an opportunity for you to demonstrate the learnings and produce results in the company. Please understand, when you get an opportunity to walk inside a company, you must walk confidently, and then you must produce results out of the project. So project is nothing but a small problem of the problem which the organization experiences. You must demonstrate your ability to solve a small problem that the company is experiencing. So please understand that project, when you are doing, that is not a learning platform, rather that is a platform, a performing platform. Whatever you learned, see, you have very good infrastructure of resources in your university. Make best use of it and complete your learning. The moment you get an opportunity to be inside an industry, and make sure you immediately perform, right? And don't use the time given as a just as a learning. Of course, learning will also be a byproduct, but your mindset should be to perform. So you have to be properly prepared for that. And then number 2 reason why projects fail. You learn a lot of tools and techniques through your 15 plus 2, 17 years of education. I'm sure you know everything. Nothing is going to be new to you. Whatever we are going to teach you are going to be, the recap of what you have learned in the 17 years. But what actually required is, most of the time when you are in the project mode, you use the wrong tools. You make a wrong choice on the tools. What you can do with the hammer, you can't do it with a screwdriver. But what you can do with the screwdriver, cannot be done with a hammer. So though you have tools, and it's very important you make a right choice of the tools, right? And you will be learning it. And number 3, uncertainty in measurement. See, Six Sigma is a data-driven approach. Six Sigma is a data-driven approach. So that means always you wanted to understand whether it is, whether the decisions are, you want to understand the problem, you want to understand the fact. So you collect data. Every time someone collects the data always comes with the error. Data always comes with the error. There are 2 types of error that always can happen. One is measurement error. Another one is sampling error. What is measurement error? If you measure wrongly, that's called a measurement error. What is the other one? The sampling error. When you collect data from an irrelevant source, that is called the sampling error. Always these 2 will happen. An industry requirement is these errors should be restricted to 10%. So you must find a way to measure the measurement error in your data and see to that you restrict the error within 10%. What is the advantage of restricting the error to 10%? You can clearly see the problem. You can clearly see the fact. See, what is a project? Project is, problem solving. When you are solving a problem, you must see the problem first. But how do you see the problem? Through the data. So your data should be clean, right? If data is contaminated with error, you can't see the problem. And tell me, without seeing a problem, how will you solve it? Without seeing a problem and then trying to solve it is something like driving a car without seeing road. You can't do it. If you really want a destination on time, then you must see the road and drive the car. Same way, you must see the problem and then solve the problem. And you can't say, I will solve the problem without seeing it. And that will be definitely a wrong approach, right? So uncertainty in any measurement, always any data should be validated for the measurement error, right? And the measurement error should be restricted to 10%. We will be learning it inside the course. And then lack of methodology, because project is always a teamwork. Some 5 to 10 people are there in the team. Some of them are yellow belts, some of them are green belts, some of them are black belts. Like there will be leaders. So if you want everybody to contribute to the success of the project, there has to be a clear methodology. People should know what needs to be done first and what needs to be done next. That means a step-by-step approach is required. In the absence of step-by-step approach, people can't take actions. If people cannot take action, and results cannot happen, right? So methodology is very, very important for any project. So Lean Six Sigma is a methodology. Lean Six Sigma gives 2 types of methodology. One is called DMAC. Define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Define the problem, then measure the problem, then analyze for the root cause, then improve the process, then control the process. So what is this define? What is this measure, analyze, improve, and control? So the moment you understand that the methodology, you can use it, while executing any project, right? And we'll see that. And then the fifth reason why projects fail: inadequate process knowledge. Inadequate process knowledge, right? A problem happens because a particular process has failed to produce the output meeting the requirements. The outputs are not meeting the requirement. That's the problem. So output is an outcome of a process. So what is that process which is actually, producing that output? You must figure out that process and then try to improve that process. So process knowledge is important. By working in a wrong area, you can't solve a particular problem. The process which you are trying to improve should actually be the process that is creating the problem. Most of the time, we end up improving a process which is not responsible for the failure, right? So you have to be doubly sure that you actually identify and work on a process which is responsible for the problem, right? And then that's called the process-centric approach, right? And then unstable process. Unstable from the statistical viewpoint, unstable process cannot be improved. Unstable process cannot be improved. So whenever you wanted to improve the results of a process, it is very important that the process is operating in a stable condition. This is what medical doctors also do. When somebody comes for a treatment, the doctor first check the stability of the patient. If the patient is stable, then they give the treatment. If the patient is not stable, let's say his sugar levels are not stable, his BP levels are not stable, do you think the doctor will give the treatment? No doctor will give the treatment when the body conditions are not stable. Because doctor cleverly, correctly know when the results are not stable, it is not a good idea or to improve the results. If they actually proceed with the treatment, what will happen? The operation will be successful, but patient may not survive. Similarly, when you do the project is nothing but solving a problem. Solving a problem is nothing but improving a process. And when you want to improve a process, please understand whether the process is stable or not. If it is stable, please work on the project and try to improve it. If it is unstable, your project should be limited to stabilizing the results, right? So statistically, how to understand whether a process is stable or not, learning. And it is mainly because of this gap that exists with respect to the 6 reasons the projects are failing, right? If you overcome all these things, I'm very sure each one of you can do wonderful project, whenever an opportunity is created for you, and you can produce fabulous results and savings for the company. Is that clear to all of you? Why projects fail? The 6 reasons. Come on, I want the students to talk now. All of you understand all the 6 points? I speak here whenever I am stopping this. See, I stop sharing the screen only to entertain the interaction. Is it understood? Because see, this is not something, a simple thing. There are 6 important points. Have you understood all 6 points? Or any doubt, anything? Sir, what is that stability? You spoke something, but I did not understand. Is there anything so? All of you are able to follow me correctly, clearly? Okay. I think my problem is still there. Select sharing stereo. Show video panel. Okay, I got it. Understood all the 6 points. So this